Hey guys.
How are you?
How we doing? Good. You?
Good.
Swing.
I guess what the obvious question is, how do you work on preventing turnovers?
Create habits. And I think we've worked a lot at that. And some games, things like that happen, and you just, shake your head and, go back to work, and try to create the techniques and fundamentals that you need to protect the ball. And ball security is usually a result of technique or decisions, and so or a great play by a defensive player, so obviously we've studied what happened, and hopefully we can learn the lesson, the hard lesson, and try to improve that aspect of our offense, because it's difficult to win when we turn the ball over like that.
Ramondre and Antonio have been in the league for a couple of years, so I get that they probably understand the gravity of the situation. But what are the conversations like with those guys, before their attitude, their approach?
Yeah, I think the only thing you could do as a coach is try to show them how they can improve the thing that wasn't done appropriately. But I will say this: like, ball security is not just an individual statistic, and there's and we don't go around placing blame, but it's all 11 guys protecting the guy with the ball, and obviously the guy that has the ball, has all of our fortune in his hands. So, we got to do a good job of protecting the runners, protecting the quarterback, and then the guys that have to do a good job of making good decisions and covering it up when there's any kind of issue or traffic. And again, it's a hard lesson. You don't like to learn them this way, but it can be of value if we will learn it and do it better going forward.
What's the level of confidence in Ramondre after last week?
I've always had a lot of confidence in Ramondre. I was here when we had the opportunity to draft him, and I think Ramondre cares a lot about doing the right things. So, I have confidence in all our players. I really do, because I see what they do to prepare and try to work hard to help us win. So, that hasn't changed, and we'll continue to coach and do our job, which is to try to focus on improving some of the things that we don't do, as well as we would like. See if we can't make those a strengths.
Type of challenge does Derek Brown present in there and this defense as a whole?
Yeah, this is a really talented player, and they have multiple guys at different levels that create some issues here. Derek's a very rugged guy up front, powerful, strong, explosive, can be disruptive in the running game, can be disruptive in pass protection. We'll see him on both sides of the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball, so it's not just one person that's going to see him. They're going to move him in terms of where his alignment is, so that's a challenge. But I have a great deal of respect for Ejiro. I've coached against him before. He does a great job of trying to put his players in the right positions so that they can make plays. Merrig, the safety, certainly a new addition to their team, but extremely disruptive all over the field. Blitzer, coverage, down most of the time in the front, but very active guy. Their corners are good, and present different challenges to us. So, and then last week they blitzed a lot and created a lot of turnovers and takeaways. So this is a group that we're certainly getting, familiar with as we go through the week, but expect a huge challenge from them. I know they're well coached and they got good players. It's a rather young group, in terms of some of the teams we've played so far. So a lot of, youth and talent on the defense. And I think our guys are hard at work getting familiar with these guys, but big challenge for us on Sunday.
Josh, how aware are you of the targets that your receivers receive individually, and what can that group do to make more of an impact going forward?
I literally focus on the process of what we're trying to do, and if we're passing the ball, efficiently, then I'm not overly concerned about one person or another, and I'd love for all of them to have 6 catches and 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's just unrealistic. Well, 2 weeks ago, Ramondre, is our leading receiver. Last week it's Hunter. The week before it's somebody else. I don't know who it's going to be this week. And I'd like our young quarterback to continue to try to distribute the ball to the person that it's supposed to go to. We involve all of our players in the game plan every one of them practices really hard. I think they're unselfish. I think they know that the ball may come to them and it may not. And hopefully, I think the goal for all of us is that we hope that the quarterback is throwing it to the person that's supposed to get it. So that's the short and long of it is if you start trying to force it to one person or another, it gets a little bit different, and now you start making mistakes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, what are the advantages of having two tight ends? You can move around the formation for the quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I think defensively you see different things. Some teams choose to play you in base personnel defensively. Some teams choose to play you a little smaller in nickel. In this case, Carolina will do both. So part of that is just, the identification of what's going on out there. But, it gives us an opportunity to run some different scheme runs. I think we have two guys that have certainly been very productive in this league at tight end. I think we're fortunate to have both of them. They've both shown up in every game so far this year. Have a lot of confidence in them. I think the quarterback has a lot of confidence in him also. So I'm excited to have a good 12 personnel grouping that, you try to manipulate the defense a little bit, get them an opportunity in space, and they've come through.
Josh, Drake was telling us yesterday about kind of the clock in his head when deciding whether to extend a play or kind of give up on it.
Yep.
How close do you think he is to improving in that area, understanding that would obviously lead to fewer turnovers?
Yeah. I think I don't know how else to say it other than it's a process. I think he's done a really good job most of the year of trying to do that the right way. There's not going to be 15 plays in the game like that, but there's probably going to be a couple. And so this is just the nature of the National Football League. And when you get forced into one of those situations, you got to first have that feeling like this isn't exactly what I was hoping for on this play. And then when you have that and you realize that it's happening, and I think it's time to make a choice. If it's easy to get away and get outside the pocket, great. If it's not, then it may be either a check down or, some type of throwaway if that's the case, or just protect the ball and take a sack, because that's going to happen too.
Mike has talked about not having to win everything in one play for Drake. Do you sense that sometimes he feels compelled to take on more on his shoulders, particularly in the fourth quarter when we've seen some of those plays happen?
I don't sense anything different. I think maybe that's when a play or two has happened, but I don't seem to notice him doing anything out of the ordinary that he's not doing earlier in the game, and I think he's found a rhythm in each game we've played, some longer than others, but I think he's really trying to do a good job of distributing the ball to where it's supposed to go. And again, I'm just going to keep coaching this specific aspect of his play, because I think there's plenty of good, and then we just got to keep chopping away at the stuff that can help us improve.
Following given Mike's aggressiveness, sometimes he can go for it on fourth down. How does that shape your thinking, even going into a game, let alone within the series?
It gives you opportunities, and we keep talking about it offensively. When we're given those opportunities, we got to come through. That's part of this deal. If you're going to get, the confidence of the head coach to let you have an opportunity to go ahead and go for it on fourth down a few times, like that's your best execution. That's your best, whatever details that are required on that play. We need our best communication in order to convert on those opportunities and then get more. So we got to continue to try to earn the right to have more, and his faith in us. And I think our guys have worked hard at trying to do that. But it certainly does present a different aspect, to the offense, when you have an opportunity to get two downs on third and fourth down to get the yardage needed. It changes your mindset a little bit. It could also affect the call on third down.
When Bob was asking the question, your eyes lit up and kind of had that evil genius smile. How much do you like those opportunities?
I love it. It's exciting, obviously, for us offensively, because it gives us an opportunity to stay on the field. Look, we go on the field for one reason, and it's try to score points. You know what I mean? So, when you're presented with an opportunity to sustain a drive, you just want to do your best. You want to come through for the head coach. You want to come through for the football team. And you, like I said, you want to earn the right to have more of those opportunities. But, I mean, it's one of the most exciting plays in football, obviously, because it's a possession. It counts as a possession. So, somebody's either keeping possession of the ball or you're turning the ball over. So, appreciate the opportunity. I think our guys really, have taken that to heart, and we're going to try to execute if we're put in that position again.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep, thank you.